From losing a mentor in a fatal car accident to having a side hustle that lands you on the big screen, I bet there's a lot you didn't know about the stars playing in the NHL today. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at 20 things you didn't know about NHL players. Brent Burns. I bet you didn't know Brent Burns has a passion that goes beyond the hockey rink. It's a little strange, but Brent Burns has an immense love for Zambonis. Burns is an avid collector of Zamboni memorabilia, including miniature models and a Zamboni-themed snow globe. Now, it's not every day you find an NHL star who has a soft spot for ice resurfacing machines. Auston Matthews. He is one of the best goal scorers the game has ever seen, but when he's not using his eyes to look for opportunities on the ice, he's using them to look for the next best thing in fashion. Auston Matthews picked up an eye for fashion during his time in Switzerland and says actor Leonardo DiCaprio and NBA star Russell Westbrook are his fashion influences. His first big purchase as a pro athlete was a Rolex Submariner, and his favorite brands are Gucci, Off-White, Givenchy, and Louis Vuitton. It's a good thing Matthews signed that lucrative extension because his fashion taste is certainly expensive. Tyler Seguin. During Tyler Seguin's career, he's had runs where he looked to be one of the most skilled players in the league. But off the ice, Tyler Seguin puts his time into DJing. Seguin has been known to showcase his musical talents at various events, spinning tracks and keeping the party alive. It's a side not many know about, but who knows, after he retires, he might think about doing it full time. Sidney Crosby. Crosby has been a student of the game for a very long time, but on his spare time, he's explored his love for history. During the 2014-2015 season, Crosby chose to enroll in an online World War II history course, one for which he received credits for. Crosby reportedly became interested in history while volunteering at a local hospital for veterans when he was just a kid. He said that during his time spent there, some of the veterans loved talking about their service and he always found it intriguing, which resulted in him enrolling in the program. Drew Doughty. The Los Angeles Kings D-man Drew Doughty has a surprising hobby that takes him away from the ice. That hobby happens to be theater. Drew Doughty is a fan of Shakespeare plays and has been taking acting classes to refine his skills. Who knows, maybe once his NHL career is over, we'll be seeing Doughty on Broadway. Now, Doughty is not the only one with acting chops in this video, so stay tuned to find out more. Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid is certainly a flashy player on the ice, but off the ice, he lives a pretty modest life and doesn't really search for the spotlight. However, there was that one time on November 6th of 2020 where McDavid actually appeared in a country music video. Canadian country music star Brett Kissel released a music video for a song called A Few Good Stories, which features the band Walk Off the Earth. In the music video, McDavid has a brief appearance as well as his dog Lenny. Though his appearance was extremely brief, this was certainly out of the ordinary for McDavid, who, as mentioned, tends to shy away from the public spotlight. Perhaps as he gets older, we'll start to see McDavid come out of his shell. Blake Wheeler. Something interesting about Wheeler's NHL journey is the fact that he never played for the team that originally drafted him. In 2004, the Phoenix Coyotes selected Wheeler 5th overall in the NHL draft. Wheeler went on to play 3 seasons at the University of Minnesota, where he led his team in goals in his final season, and was then offered a contract by the Coyotes in 2008. In a fairly unusual fashion, he declined their offer and chose to become a free agent. Don Maloney, the Coyotes GM at the time, discussed his surprise with Wheeler's decision. Considering how much of a joke the Arizona Coyotes have turned out to be, Blake Wheeler certainly made the right choice. Tom Wilson. He is one of the most controversial players in the league for his numerous suspensions and questionable hits. With that being said, would you have guessed that Tom Wilson is actually a table tennis fanatic? When he's off the ice with his teammates, he's known for engaging them in intense ping pong matches and is downright obsessed with the game. Some would even call Tom Wilson a ping pong prodigy. Brad Marchand. Over the years, Brad Marchand has developed quite a fierce rivalry with the Toronto Maple Leafs, given how many times he and the Bruins have eliminated them in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Marchand grew up on the east coast of Canada, and just like many others, he grew up without an NHL team nearby. Many from that area of Canada support either the Montreal Canadiens or the Toronto Maple Leafs, and during a Bruins game, Marchand revealed that his favorite team growing up was in fact the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's perhaps a bit sensitive to talk about given how associated he is with the Bruins these days, and how things have been going for the Maple Leafs for a long time, and Marchand obviously didn't feel all that comfortable admitting that that the Leafs were his favorite. I mean, just look how demoralized he is admitting it in this quick clip.
Hi, I'm Marchand. My favorite hockey team growing up was the Toronto Leafs.
David Pastrnak. Hey Alexa, play Barbie Girl. That's right, David Pastrnak went viral for his love of the song Barbie Girl after a post-game interview during a game at Lake Tahoe. Sporting 90s sunglasses, Pastrnak chirped at broadcasters for interrupting him dancing to the song in the locker room to do the interview. Now, on a more serious note, David Pastrnak dedicated his entire career to his father, and his goal was to always make his dad proud. David was encouraged to play hockey by his father as a child. Unfortunately, his dad lost his battle with cancer back in 2013, and David cites making his dad proud as his inspiration for becoming a pro hockey player. Alexander Oetkin. Alexander Ovechkin's older brother Sergei introduced him to the game of hockey. When Alexander was 10 years old, a blood clot caused by a car accident killed Sergei. At the same age, Alexander broke a goalpost in half with a shot, which his coach at the time still keeps as a memento. Alexander Ovechkin grew up on the west side of post-communist Russia and unfortunately lost many friends to the streets. He said, "Some are in prison, a lot of them are dead, drugs and all that crap. When you leave school and try to find work, your priorities immediately change. That's when the drugs get you." During this adversity, Ovechkin's answer was to pour his abundant energy into hockey, which was his escape from tragedy and temptation. He joined the Moscow Dynamo Academy early in his high school career, and that eventually allowed him to become the Russian icon and hockey hero he is today. Erik Karlsson. After securing his third Norris Trophy win in the 2022-23 season, Erik Karlsson joined a small group of players as the only players to win the award that many times. Unfortunately, out of all the players who have won the Norris Trophy 3 or more times throughout their career, Erik Karlsson is the only skater on that list who is still searching for his first Stanley Cup championship. Ultimately, the closest he ever got to playing in the Stanley Cup Final was losing in Game 7 of the 2017 Eastern Conference Final with the Ottawa Senators. He also suffered that same fate in 2019, losing in Game 6 of the Western Conference Finals, playing with the San Jose Sharks. Nathan McKinnon. On top of an NHL career, you probably had no idea that Nathan McKinnon also has an acting career. Aside from his Tim Hortons commercials appearing alongside Sidney Crosby, Nathan McKinnon appeared on two notable Canadian TV shows, Mr. D and Trailer Park Boys. McKinnon has appeared in a reoccurring role on Mr. D, playing a fictionalized version of himself. He first appeared in Season 2, Episode 4, then in Season 3, Episode 7, and then again in Season 4, Episode 11. McKinnon also appeared as himself in Trailer Park Boys in Season 11, Episode 7, at Ricky's Ball Hockey Camp. In 2019, he returned in a voice acting role in Trailer Park Boys, the animated series, Season 1, Episode 3, again portraying himself. Mitch Marner. Esports is something that has started to really evolve, especially within recent years. Professional gamers are now being paid, oftentimes handsomely, and you'd struggle to find many kids who aren't playing video games these days. Marner is admittedly a big fan of gaming, which is why during the summer of 2020, he joined the ownership group of an esports company called Overactive Media. The ownership group of Overactive Media includes more than 80 people, and despite Marner's fame, he isn't the most known person involved. Another person you may have heard of a part of this ownership group is The Weeknd. Andrew Mangiapane. Mangiapane joined the Barrie Colts at the start of the 2013-2014 season, but underperformed in 68 games, netting 58 points. Unfortunately, the scouts did not rank him for the 2014 NHL entry draft, and he went undrafted. Returning to the Colts camp for the 2014-2015 season on a mission to earn his spot in the 2015 NHL draft, Mangiapane responded with 104 points, with 43 goals and 61 assists. Eventually, he got ranked 88th, and the Flames drafted him 166th overall. After being drafted by Calgary, Mangiapane rewarded their faith in his abilities by racking up 106 points in the 2015-2016 season, reaching 51 goals and finishing 1 point behind Matthew Tkachuk. Ultimately, after a slow start to his OHL career, Mangiapane finished with 261 points in 195 games. Cole Coffield. Standing at just 5'7", Cole Coffield has had many detractors when it comes to his game because of his small frame. In fact, that played a major factor in why he slid down to number 15 in his draft class. Due to the constant doubt thrown his way, he was quick to look to his new coach Martin St. Louis as an idol. Like Coffield, Martin St. Louis was undersized as a player at just 5'8" and faced many doubters on his way to the NHL. Martin St. Louis went on to show that small players have a place in the NHL as he scored 391 goals and 1,033 points during his illustrious career. Adding to that, he included 2 Hart trophies and 2 Art Ross trophies as well. Ironically enough, Martin St. Louis was hired as the Montreal Canadiens head coach partway through the 2021-22 season, and it paid dividends for Coffield. Prior to this hiring, he was really struggling in his rookie campaign, and he even spent time in the American Hockey League. However, after the St. Louis hiring, Cole Caufield's game turned around in a massive way. It seems as though the new bench boss was able to relate to this young player and knew exactly what he had to do to help him turn things around. Leon Draisaitl. Leon Draisaitl is the German Gretzky. Due to his success, not only at the NHL level, but as a kid playing hockey, he has been referred to for a long time as the German Gretzky. In a game on April 26 of the 2020-21 season, Leon Draisaitl put up a goal and an assist in a 6-1 win over the Winnipeg Jets. While a multi-point outing is nothing out of the usual for him, this one in particular was special. The second point of that night happened to be the 488th of his entire career, which helped him pass fellow German Marco Sturm and made Draisaitl the highest scoring German forward of all time. Patrick Kane. For many kids growing up, one of their biggest dreams is to one day appear on a hockey card. That dream doesn't really become a reality for most, and if it does, it comes at a much older age. At just 6 years old, Patrick Kane appeared on his first ever hockey card, though it wasn't as a player. Attending a Buffalo Sabres game with his dad during the 1994-95 season, Kane can be seen on his father's lap, appearing to laugh at a collision between Dale Hawerchuk and Ottawa Senators forward Sylvain Turgeon. Turgeon himself is amused by the card, once remarking that it has pretty good value given that Kane appears in the background. Another thing you may have noticed about Patrick Kane is his love for chewing his mouthguard while on the ice. This became such a phenomenon that Kane actually released his own line of mouthguards, and just in the first month of being available, he sold $25,000 worth. Johnny Gaudreau. Although Boston College fans called him Johnny Hockey, his teammates at the time referred to him as Johnny Ham and Cheese. This reportedly is because Gaudreau was considered a picky eater after he chose a plain ham and cheese sandwich over fancier food options. This nickname blew up after an episode of the Spit and Chicklets podcast when former Boston College teammate Kevin Hayes mentioned the nickname and the stories behind it. Connor Bedard. Connor Bedard dedicates his hockey career to his late grandfather Garth. Back in 2021, Bedard's grandfather Garth died tragically in a car accident caused by an impaired driver. He was the proudest figure of his grandson's achievement in hockey. The two practiced together, played games, and had an unbreakable bond. Now Bedard carries around a poker chip with him in remembrance of his grandfather. When Bedard's grandfather passed in the middle of the Regina Pat season, Connor declared that he would keep playing, saying, "Grandpa would want me to play." Thanks for watching our videos. Don't forget to hit that like button, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video.